This short video introduces the Valley Oak Tool Company Wheel Hoe, an environmentally sound, time-saving, and labor-saving push cultivator for small farmers and home gardeners.
I found it to be so easy to use that I thought, I've got to have this tool when I start doing my own work on my own farm, because it's too simple not to have.
This tool is ideal for large gardens and small farms, whether the crops are raised for home use or for market production. The gardener can save time and wear and tear on her or his body. Benefits of the wheel hoe are: it saves labor, it saves money, and it is environmentally sound. No herbicides are needed and no fossil fuels are needed for its use. The wheel hoe serves three main functions. The primary use is for hoeing weeds so that the crop yields are larger and easier to harvest. With the 3-tine or 4-tine cultivator attachment, the soil can be loosened to a depth of 4 or 5 inches for incorporating nutrients or prior to making furrows. The furrower attachment makes a 4-inch to 6-inch furrow for planting crops like potatoes or garlic or for irrigation. Hello, my name is David Grau, and I own Valley Oak Tool Company. I've been making wheel hoes for 18 years. And I started making them after being an organic farmer, growing vegetables for 8 years. And as I got out of the business of farming, I started making tools. It's a great tool for organic farmers, large-scale gardeners. You can use it for hoeing with vegetables, around flowers, even under and around fruit trees and berry vines. It gets within about 1 inch of your row of plants, so it gets really close. There are several choices of blades, and they switch out quite easily. Here is the wheel hoe in action in a broccoli patch at Laguna Farm. Notice that I am moving right along, hoeing close to the row of plants. The curved blade cuts shallower next to the broccoli plant and doesn't prune the roots, while passing deep enough to tear the weed roots loose. Although not easy to see, many smaller weeds are also being hoed. When the weeds are small, preferably the size of alfalfa sprouts, and the soil is in good tilth, the operator can walk along briskly. For larger weeds, the step stroke method works better. To change attachments, you simply unhook the keeper and remove the pin. This is the 16-inch blade assembly, which works well in loose soils like this sandy loam. With a tall throat, thick growths of taller weeds easily pass through, making quick work of even dense patches of weeds. The tined cultivator loosens the soil deeper prior to furrowing. The handle height is adjusted to hip height for the operator. Switching from the 3-tine cultivator to the furrower. In loose soil, furrowing is easy. This is the first time Laura has used the wheel hoe. It only takes a couple of minutes to learn.
Wow, this is cutting really easily. I'm surprised.
Here are a couple of real farmers talking about using the wheel hoe.
My name is Scott Matheson. I own and operate Laguna Farm, a community-supported ag-based farm, meaning we sell direct to subscribers, and we have 500 of those members that get our produce. We've been farming organically for 23 years. I've been using the Valley Oak Wheel Hoe for maybe 15 years, along with hand hoes and tractor cultivators. So it's a major tool for a human to be able to cultivate the ground after we've gone through with tractors. I'd say a wheel hoe in the pathways and in the areas between the crop lines are at least twice as fast as a hand hoe, because you're not having to do a repetitive motion, being able to have a continuous motion. So it's probably 2 to 3 times as fast as a handheld hula hoop or hoe. Much better in back. I'd say, for people using it, it's much kinder, gentler way of working the ground. We do not sharpen them. They seem to be self-sharpening. I mean, they kind of, just in the use of them, they stay, they don't get blunt, really. I mean, they probably don't come as the same angle cut and such as when they first are new, but they stay fine for being able to slice the root zone underneath the plant. I often say I wouldn't be in farming today if it wasn't for the CSA, because it's so much more fulfilling, and economically it's allowed me to be able to be an ethical employer and pay employees well and do a true sustainable fertility program, and then the energy program of getting most of our energy from solar. Someday I'll have electric tractors.
Taylor has been cultivating about 2 acres of vegetables near Sebastopol for the past few years. Taylor is a great example of a farmer utilizing sustainable methods of crop production. Compost for soil fertility, diverse crops, and timely weed control with the wheel hoe are key elements of his success.
Well, it's about 5 years ago or so when I got introduced to it down at another farm where I was apprenticing. And I found it to be so easy to use that I thought, I've got to have this tool when I start doing my own work on my own farm, because it's too simple not to have. So I knew I'd had to have one as soon as I got going. I tend to sharpen it probably once a month during the peak season, because it does cut more effectively when it's sharper, and it's just easier to use. And keeping it at the proper height is also a factor, not trying to get too deep into the soil. I used to do it with hand hoe, yeah, and I just didn't get as much done because it wasn't very effective. So I'd only do the most critical areas and then leave the rest. And it didn't allow for the proper growth of the plants. What's particularly useful for me in using this tool with organic farming is that since I can't use pesticides and I don't want to use any kind of sprays anyway, this allows me to do the cultivation that I would normally do with a tractor. And so this is very helpful because it's not very time consuming, and it allows me to do what I need to do.
We all know that humanity's relationship with nature is in crisis. On a global scale, we need to switch back to raising food and fiber without toxic chemicals. Central to this worldwide transition is the adoption of appropriate human-powered equipment. The wheel hoe is an example of a tool that allows the grower to raise crops efficiently using much less fossil fuel or toxic chemicals. Push cultivators and other human-powered tools need to be put into use across the planet for us to make this ecological transformation. Valley Oak Tool Company is going global. We want to get these tools in the hands of small-scale farmers throughout the world. We would like to see wheel hoes distributed through non-government organizations and farmers' cooperatives at prices that subsistence farmers can afford. We are also expanding distribution through conventional farm and garden retailers. Please contact us for complete wholesale and retail sales information at valleyoaktool.com or call 415-497-2446. Thanks and happy gardening.